I can see a lot of people trickling in. Cool. I think we've got a good quorum, so we can get started. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining on time and in good numbers. This is very encouraging. Um, you know, the reason we decided to focus on the marketing audiences because in the last few weeks, as we've announced our AI agents, we've been getting a lot of questions from marketers. Is this for real? Is this hype? What are the use cases? Can you tell us what are the proof points? So we thought we'll address this all for the benefit of our customers and others in the marketing space who want to explore what AI agents can do for them. So quickly moving on to what the agenda for today is, we'll talk about what are the current marketing challenges. And, me being a marketer, these are something which really hit home for me. We'll go a little bit into the basics of AI agents because there are different types of AI agents that we see in the market, which can orchestrate processes, which can be for conversations and so on. So we look at the different types and talk about what we think of as conversational AI agents. We'll also look at some of the high converting conversational flows, and we'll try to cover a bunch of industries in this, also through live examples, and then we'll open up for questions. You will also see the Q&A window on your panel, so feel free to drop in your questions at any point of time, and we'll address them either during the presentation or towards the end. So of course, I have my colleague Vartika with me. Both of us are marketers, so this is something which is very close to us. And as we speak about this, these are things that we have lived on a day-to-day basis, and you'll sort of see where we are coming from. So we'll start with talking about the challenges that marketers are facing right now. So if you can go to the next slide, Nisha. Okay, perfect. So we have actually a poll before that. So let's hear from you as well. We'll just bring it up. So we essentially want to know which industry do you represent because, I did see a lot of different verticals who were represented. So it'll give us a good sense of the space that's shown up. Okay. Cool. I think we have all the answers. So we can bring out the results over here. I see a good mix of retail e-commerce, BFSI, healthcare, and a lot of you from others. I'm curious to know what that others is. So if you can just put that in the Q&A or the chat box, that will help us as well. Perfect. Okay. So, so what is it that's happening in marketing today? And I'm sure you all have experienced this in your day-to-day work. What we find is that, when we speak to a lot of our customers who are from a lot of the different industries that you guys also represent, what we find is that there is so many different platforms that we have to deal with, right? So when it comes to the MarTech systems, the backend tools that we use, this is 10 plus, and I'm sure this is a gross underrepresentation because the reality might be like even 20 or 40, depending on the industry that you're in. There is a range of things like, the CRM systems, we are doing email marketing, we are doing marketing on different channels, digital advertising, we are using different design tools, SEO, Google Ads, other ad platforms. We are using personalization engines for our web store, something else for the app, for marketing automation, mobile marketing, for content. So the list sort of goes on and on. And as we speak, there are new tools getting added, which means that, of course, there's a learning curve for all of these tools. And you also have to spend time looking at each one of this. There's a lot of time which is really spent on internal follow-ups in transactions and repetitive tasks. And we sometimes wish that, hey, can somebody else take care of this so we can do what we do best, which is get creative and build relationship with customers. When it comes to things like marketing, we want to get access to database. So a lot of times we end up going internally to our colleagues and say, hey, this is the campaign that I'm running. This is the criteria. Can you pull out a database for us? You want to check copy. You want to see what's performing, what's not, define the channel strategy, look at the range of different channels, and there's a new one coming up every second day. Hop from one place to the other, which is your app, web, store, and there's a lot of time which is lost in these non-productive tasks, and we are really stretched thin. So at the same time, what's happening is that consumers want more control, and they're spoiled for choice, right? They have so many options. They're becoming harder to please. In our interactions with a lot of our customers, what they say is that, because of the convenience that they are used to, there's so much preference for frictionless journeys. They also are becoming impatient, and they want assistance immediately, right? And I see some of that in my behavior as well, because the moment I'm exploring a new product, and especially if it's a product which is high involvement, I want I want to be sure that this is right for me, for my needs, right? So if I'm investing, for example, in an air conditioner, I want to know whether it's the right energy saving. Is it right for the room size that I have? What is the warranty that is applicable? And if I don't get that answer when I'm browsing, maybe at 9 p.m. in the night, because I can't speak to somebody else who can really guide me and convince me that this is the right product for me, chances are I'll drop off, or I'll go to a different place where I actually do get that immediate assistance and convenience. Also, a lot of times, when it comes to e-commerce, you're struggling with finding the products on challenging. When it comes to things like credit cards or loan or insurance, these are products where my needs might be very different from somebody else's. So again, the search filters are really not helping me, because I still don't know whether it's the right fit for me or not. And of course, that means that a majority of customers, close to about 80%, would like to purchase from businesses that can deliver these personalized experiences, and right there, right then. So in summary, what is the state of conversational engagement, right? The journey happens to be fragmented very often. You're bouncing from one channel to the other, and as a result, you end up dropping off because you're not getting assistance in real time. Businesses actually have a lot of data, so one would assume that they should be able to understand the customer, but the application of the data becomes difficult, because you're not able to use it for the right use case that you're doing. So you know what their past purchases are, you know what their preferences are, but it's all siloed, and the ability to use it for different marketing campaigns and for making the engagement that much more relevant becomes difficult. Personalization seems to be very superficial. Either it'll be just the first name basis, or the recommendations are just limited to new launches, bestsellers, but not really accounting for my personal preferences. So if I'm something who's lactose intolerant, for example, why are you suggesting products and recipes to me which don't work for me, right? Product discovery remains a problem. And lead qualification, and this is especially for verticals like real estate, financial services, where as a business, we end up spending a lot of time in just working on the leads and prospects that might tend to be not viable. Because if a person does not have the budget, and they say my budget is under 50 lakhs, right, in the Indian market, and I don't have properties in that range, why am I even wasting my time on it before getting at least the basic information, right? So all of these are challenges that we see day in and day out. So what's the solution? Of course, AI agents. So what these agents do is they will try to understand needs of every customer, really guide their decision-making their process, which means that they are working hand in hand with them, assisting them as they are through the process of evaluating whether the product is right for them or not. So what these agents essentially help you do is they make your marketing almost as if it's on steroids. So if they make your engagement effortless, and there are a few things that we'll see. We spoke about what's happening on the left-hand side, but as a contrast, what we've sort of seeing as signals from the market, the things that are changing is that You have the ability to engage and nurture these customers across their journey, help them make buying decisions 24 by 7. So if I'm browsing something at 8 p.m., 9 p.m. in the night, I don't have to wait till the next day to get hold of a live sales agent who can help me with the process. But this can become no matter what time I'm free from my work and I'm looking for something new. And then, as we spoke about, it can automate lead qualification. So if you want to know, 4 things about your customer before you say, this is a qualified lead for me, or even define it as, something which is a hot lead versus a cold lead, I can do all of that based on the intent signals that I'm getting from a conversation. And of course, what this enables is personalized, contextual retargeting, helps you prevent churn, helps you drive repeat purchases. So let's look a little bit about what are these AI agents, and we'll talk about a very specific category of these, which is conversational AI agents. So what's the evolution been like, right? We've all sort of, as consumers, interacted with old school chatbots, which are what you see at the bottom here, which is structured bots, right? These are not AI driven at all. You pre-code certain different scenarios, journeys, and say that, uh, based on the selection somebody is making, you give them the answers. As a result, what happens is they break very quickly because the moment I want to know, the 3 options that are provided are not relevant for me. I want to know about a fourth thing, they're not going to be helpful. So, you almost pray that you don't have come across one of those structured bots because chances are you'll just be pulling your hair apart and you say that, hey, can I please speak to a human who knows what I'm talking about? And then there's the next stage which came up, which is NLP-based bots. These are trained with intents and entities, right? Which means that it'll be able to gauge whether somebody's looking to book a flight ticket, for example. And if it did that, then the flight ticket is from, say, Mumbai to Bangalore. So it'll be able to, within that particular defined set of tasks, it'll be able to perform well. But, the training periods are super long. It could take anywhere from 4 months, 6 months. We've seen even longer time periods to really make this live. And if the customer changes context and they start asking a different question, they will just not be able to handle it. And then in late 2022, 23, we started seeing these LLM-based bots, after we all started playing with ChatGPT. They are much better. They also are faster to deploy, but they lack the reasoning capabilities. And they are able to handle the conversation. But what's happened now, about a quarter or 2 quarters back, is that we've seen this huge new technology coming in, which is enabling us to build these very targeted AI agents for conversations. So the way these are different is that they are really deeply trained on your specific business, meaning they are also pre-integrated with your application. So if you are using a particular CRM like Zoho, Lead Squared, it'll be able to check the information there, update the leads there, engage the customer conversationally, and as long as it's trained on a certain set of tasks like lead qualification, it'll be able to break down the task into different pieces and give the response. And they're very goal driven. So, if the goal of this particular agent in, say, the real estate example is to book a site visit or book an appointment for the person. So in addition to engaging with the person, it'll also be goal oriented and it'll keep bringing the conversation back to that point, right? And of course, you can train it on persona. Do you want it to be fun and engaging? Do you want it to be polite? Do you want it to be direct based on your brand voice and your specific use case? So these agents are also business ready, and they can be deployed on multiple different channels. Some of the channels that we support include WhatsApp, voice, RCS, also on web applications, on your mobile app, and they are multimodal, meaning it's not just for text, but it works on voice. So if you are a company who's actually doing a lot of telecalling, and asking people if they are interested in a credit card, in a personal loan, in a property. Uh, and voice is a key channel for you. These agents work on voice as well, and they really have very low latency, meaning that it just feels like a very natural human-like conversation. There's also voice notes, which works on WhatsApp as well. So that's asynchronous, meaning that I can send the message now and you may want to respond like 2 hours later or whenever you have time. Of course, there is text, which are all the different channels that we spoke about, but they can also consume handwritten notes and images and make a sense of it and respond to you accordingly. And a no-brainer or sort of a deal breaker now is if it doesn't speak my language, it doesn't work for me, right? Because we are multilingual, we want to reach to different sections of the society, different cities. So it works in every possible language that it is trained on. So this may seem a little complex, but actually it's fairly straightforward. How these agents work is we all know of the large language models, right? The foundational models such as OpenAI's models or Llama, Meta's models, and so on. Those serve really as the core of what the AI agent does. So they act as the brain, which is where the objective is defined, the functionality is defined, that what is it supposed to do, more importantly what it should not be doing at all. So if you are a banking agent which is helping somebody with opening a new account, then you don't want that agent to answer questions about Bollywood gossip. So if somebody asks that question, it'll say that, hey, sorry, I'm not trained on that, or I'm not the right agent to answer that question. So you have guardrails defined, you have the persona and the personality of the agent defined as well. And then you do it some more tools or superpowers, right? So you give it the ability to plan and execute a task, decompose the task into different steps, and execute it. You give it memory, you give it the customer's context, which is the historical transactions, whether it is a high value customer for you, a new customer, and so on. And you give it a lot of different tools. So these could be tools like integrations with your source systems or through APIs such as a weather API. So if you're a travel and hospitality agent, which is really looking to guiding you on your ticket booking process and so on, but I also want to know, hey, I'm traveling to Mumbai next week. What should I pack? So it'll understand the context that I'm looking at what is the weather in Mumbai right now, and it'll give you recommendations that, hey, it's hot, it's summer right now, or is it monsoon? I mean, it's hot and monsoon in Mumbai at all times, so doesn't really matter. But essentially, it's doing its task with the help of these tools and giving you the relevant information. And there's something called the RAG pipeline, which is to ensure that it is retrieving information from the right documents. So if you have your say loan policy as a bank saying that, hey, if you pre-close the loan, these are the charges, it will know that it has to fetch information from that particular source so that it maintains the quality and accuracy of its response. And then there could be one agent or there could be a bunch of agents, which is really orchestrating this whole flow and generating the response and giving it back to you on the range of channels that we have defined. So a lot of times, the reason I wanted to talk about this is a lot of times people ask us that, hey, I can use LLMs, I can use Claude or ChatGPT. Why do we need Gupshup for this? So this is one attempt to sort of answer that question, because we think of the foundational models and all the hardware and chips that come with it as the infrastructure, and we've built on top of that. So these are really applications that we've built which are ready for businesses, right? So either it is a platform where you make an investment in a product where it's a DIY, right? You go and build all the things for you. You define what journeys are needed. You set up campaigns and do a range of things that marketing has to do. Or you can invest in a specific AI agent, which is for a particular use case, which could be lead generation or product discovery. And we look at some of those agents right now. So essentially, those foundational models are there and great, but are they ready for business use? Do they have the guardrails? That's what we have built for you so that you don't have to do all the groundwork and start from scratch. And this is, just the indicative list of the various customers that are already using AI across the world. These are all our customers. It's a limited list right now here. But you can see examples from CPG, which are brands like L'Oreal, Badshah Masala in India, which was very, a legacy brand, but being very innovative in the way they are using something called the recipe agent, which we'll show to you. There are, digital first brands like Lenskart, Cars24, which are using this. But, the whole idea is that no matter which vertical you're in, what is your use case? And this is not just marketing use cases, but a range of use cases. There's an AI agent for you. Okay. So we'll go on to the next section where we'll see some examples. But before that, let's just do a quick poll. Hopefully it's on your screen now. Okay, personalized marketing is winning so far. I think we have most of the responses in. Nisha, you want to bring up the results? Cool. So personalized marketing followed by upsell, cross-sell, product discovery. You'll be a little surprised with the use cases that we have to show you. Cool. Over to you, Vartika.
Thanks, Bhavna. And thank you so much for participating in our poll and sharing your thoughts about which area of marketing you feel AI agents will make a big impact on. So in the next few minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a host of AI agents, especially designed for marketers. And the whole idea is that how can it help you drive your goals, right? Be it acquisition, retention, personalized marketing, or even product discovery. So let's dive right in. Coming to the next slide, what we're going to be talking about today is our, sorry, I think we skipped the slide, Nisha. Awesome, thanks. So what we're going to talk about, our first AI agent is the new customer acquisition AI agent. Now, as marketers, we are well aware that CAC is like gold, right? Always on the rise. And while we can't do much about CAC, what we can do is about the optimization and the movement of leads to conversions, right? And this is where this AI agent comes into the picture. What this one does is that, let's say you're running ads on the digital platform or even offline, what you can do is you can nudge customers to come onto a conversational WhatsApp AI agent, wherein you can, sort of qualify leads, have conversations about what their needs are, understand which product might fit better. And, instead of just capturing a lead, you can actually dive deeper and, sort of move the funnel more towards a conversion. So on the screen, if you see what we have put on the left is an AI agent, which is a loan assistance AI agent. Now, what this is doing is it's understanding what is the consumer's requirement for a loan, what is their profile, and then, suggest the best loan product for them. It is also sort of, understanding what is their past history with the bank, or maybe doing KYC, understanding what is the person's profile, loan eligibility, etc. And on the right, what you see is this brand called Reserva, which is a customer in Brazil. What this one is doing is, right from an ad, you basically click onto an ad, and instead of going onto a landing page, you've landed on WhatsApp, where, instead of just showing one product, what you can do is have a conversation. Hey, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a gift, or are you looking for a personal use? And then based on that, from your catalog, suggest products that might be a good fit. So this one goes a long way in, sort of capturing your lead, and not just, ending at that, but also qualifying it conversationally. And the outcomes that brands can expect using this AI agent is, of course, reduced cost of acquisition. The other one is understanding your customer profiles more deeply, and you can also segment it like, hey, my customers who came in from my offline ads, what was that of more high value than, let's say, customers that came from digital ads, and so on and so forth. And because you create a channel wherein you can reach out to the customers again, even if they're not visiting your website or your store, it also helps marketers increase the lifetime value. So that was about our first AI agent, the new customer acquisition AI agent. The next one that you got a glimpse of earlier is the product finder AI agent. Now, if I was to think about what the product finder AI agent is, and the analogy that I would draw is like, it's having, having a sales person 24/7 working on, also building a customer base, which is not just available on your website or your app or your store. So this product finder AI agent on WhatsApp could mean that your customers who don't visit your website or app or store still will have a way to look through what your offerings are, what your new product launches are, and actually make a purchase. So this AI agent is, comparable to a top-notch salesman, like I said. So on this screen, what you can see is our AI agent for L'Oreal Brazil. Now, L'Oreal Brazil was launching a serum, and they knew that customers would have a lot of questions like, hey, can I use this serum at night? Do I need to use a sunscreen along with it? And yada, yada. And then on the right, what you see is an example of Lenskart, wherein they wanted to augment their sales agents with an AI agent that can recommend glasses suitable based on the customer's style or utility needs. Now, in both the examples, as you can imagine, the outcomes that a brand can expect is higher average order value, greater conversions, and also greater customer retention. Similar to our product finder AI agent, because we saw a lot of people from the banking and fintech industry, what we want to talk a little bit deeper about is the credit card finder AI agent. Personally, I think all of us would be getting a lot of calls, right? Like, hey, sir, ma'am, do you want a credit card? Now, it's a very blanket pitch that often comes from banks. Of course, they want to increase their credit card scale sales, but is there a better way of doing that? We believe that the credit card finder AI agent can actually bridge the gap. What this one does is uh, it basically engages with the consumers in a two-way conversation, tries to understand what is their lifestyle needs. Hey, do you need more airport lounge access, or do you need more F&B coupons, or do you need movie tickets? And based on that, whatever is the best credit card available, it would suggest. So it is not really, sort of doing a blanket push, but really deeply understanding what the consumer's needs are, and then suggesting a credit card accordingly. And you can put this scenario into any product, right? Like, a lot of us are not from banks over here, but you can imagine if your company has a host of products or has many varieties of one, you can actually leverage one of the product finder AI agent to suggest 24/7 answer FAQs. And you'll also get to understand what are the questions that people are asking to this agent, and based on that, you can actually customize or personalize your ads or your other sales assets and marketing materials as well. So the outcome of the credit card finder AI agent is, firstly, of course, more credit card applications. The other thing is, because the profile is better understood by the bank, it also helps them increase their credit card approval rate. And ultimately, also for the end customer, it gives a better customer experience, because maybe they would have found another card with another bank, but this helps you contain to your relationship and to your bank. So that was about our credit card finder AI agent. Next up, I want to talk about a broader view of how you can run personalized conversational campaigns. Now, for all of us, whoever is in the marketing team or sales team, you know that everything is becoming more and more about revenue versus branding, right? And you'd agree that, getting a lead is just the beginning of that journey. So with personalized conversational campaigns, what you can do is you can nudge customers gently towards desirable actions through both structured and free-flowing conversations. So on the screen, if you see, there's an example of an OEM company which is basically saying that, hey, XYZ product is back in stock. Would you like to book now or explore more? And then you can see that how in a natural language, the customer is asking questions which are about the product features. And then to increase your reach, what you can also leverage with Gupshup's Conversation Cloud is a seamless fallback onto a channel. So a lot of times the customer might not be available on channel one, but you definitely want to deliver the message out there. So what we have also enabled a lot of brands to do is that if a message on channel one, say WhatsApp fails, you can fall back onto another channel, say RCS, for example. And the outcomes of this is that you end up reaching more people who you intended to. You optimize your campaign cost as well. And again, deliver a good customer experience because not only are you sending message about the product, but also enabling the customer to ask their frequently asked questions. So that was about our personalized conversational campaigns. And if we go to the next, what we also wanted to talk about is it's very basic how you can segment leads and personalize the outreach. But just wanted to share that, when as brands or as marketers, when we start getting a lot of these conversational intent coming our way, we can actually set goals that, hey, if a person finishes this journey or if they share, let's say, what they're looking for, I would say that it's a warm lead. If a person dropped off without really sharing any details, it would be a cold lead. And if they continue the journey to, let's say, a milestone that you had set of, let's say, collecting your PAN number, that would be as a successful completed journey. So you can segment all these leads based on hot, cold, warm, and you can make your own segment names as well. And based on this, what you can do is you can reach out to them with agentic AI and re-engage with the prospects according to the stage that they are in. So this is something really handy, and with more and more conversational insights coming in, segmentation and personalization sort of become even more important. So for somebody who has not even gone through the journey, say 35%, you don't want to spend your time on that prospect versus you want to spend time on a prospect which has completed more journeys or has shared more details about what their requirements are. So this actually helps you do that, rather than spray and pray. You can actually have very segmented, personalized outreach on a channel which is already on people's phone all the time, which is WhatsApp, right? So moving on to the, yeah, so this one was, something that we, Bhavna and me, are also very big proponents of, is that, a lot of times when we think of AI, people say, okay, AI is for customer support. But think of AI for just customer support is a little bit of a mistake or a misnomer, because customers, when they're making their purchase as well, are looking for a lot of information, like what are the customer reviews, or what are the return policy. I think this is the number one for especially a lot of e-com D2C brands. Where is the store? What is the customer support number, product specs, so on and so forth. So next time when somebody says, hey, AI is really popular in customer support, I hope you all remember some of these use cases and say that no, AI is for marketers as well. So that was a little pro tip. And moving on to the next one, what I want to talk about here is that, beyond acquisition and retention, like we talked about in the previous examples, what also is making a difference is the platform that you're selling on. So, for example, you could be a digital first brand, which is on Shopify, or you could be an offline heavy brand. And there are AI agents that could support your marketing goals of driving sales and footfall as well. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about those. So, in the first one, the Shopify Merchant Growth Assistant, let's say you have a Shopify storefront. This AI agent could become really helpful in driving higher acquisitions. So based on the event triggers that you're capturing on Shopify, it could be like, let's say somebody abandoned the cart or somebody placed an order and it was a COD order and you want to convert it into a prepaid order. Or it could be that, somebody added a review. So based on all those event triggers that you have set up, you can actually nudge journeys onto WhatsApp. So even if they are not on your website, they can continue the journey. It could be something about an abandoned cart being recovered, or it could be on the right hand side, like you see, there's an order that has been confirmed. But to reduce your NDRs and RTOs, what you want to do is confirm that the order is something that they really wanted, and you confirm it over there. And what are the outcomes with this? What we worked with a few brands is that they've seen more revenue per user. They've seen definite reduction in abandoned carts, and also again a better customer experience. I think that's a given across the AI agents. But this is what the Shopify Merchants Growth Assistant can do. And you can have this as a structured journey, like you see on the left, and also in free flowing natural language, agentic AI powered conversations. Now, to the next one, let's say you are a brand which is more offline heavy. So, what would come in handy for you is the store footfall growth assistant. And this is one of the easy hacks that we have seen. That let's say if a shopper is coming, or a window shopper is coming on into your store, they are in your real estate, but you're seldom capturing details about their name, phone number, or what their preferences were. But with this store footfall growth assistant, what you can do is you can capture first party database by sending utility messages, like let's say an invoice. And that can become a good channel for you to say that, hey, there are some new products back in store. Would you like to visit our store in so and so mall or area? The second one, could be about, let's say if somebody has made a purchase, you're sending them, some more details about their invoices, billing. You can also go into support use cases or further upselling warranty through these agentic AI conversations. And the outcome of this is the more the store footfall, the more your sales. And also it helps a lot of offline retail brands build that direct to customer communication channel. So that was about our store footfall growth assistant. And the last one that I want to talk about is the feedback assistant. So, as marketers, many of you would know this already, that gathering customer feedback is not just good for more new business, but it's also good for understanding what the market needs are, so that you can refine your product offerings, you can refine your campaign messaging, and resonate more deeply with your audience. And what this helps you do is ultimately drive more effective sales and marketing strategies. So with the feedback assistant, you can subtly nudge customers that have made a purchase about their, what is their feedback on the product, or if they have not made a purchase and if they have visited your website or done some event triggers that you can capture, you can also nudge them asking like, hey, we missed you. Was there something missing? Was there some product that you're looking for? So on and so forth. And on the screen, what you see are two examples. This is for one of our customers, wherein they wanted to take feedback about what was their feedback with respect to the TV that they saw in store. So for very high value goods, this could be really handy, and this could also be equally handy for gathering reviews and customer feedback for let's say low average order value products as well. And the outcomes of this feedback assistant, like I said earlier as well, is, one, you get more direct customer feedback, their verbatim feedback, so that you understand what words they are using, what is their sentiment. You can sort of send it back to your product team and so on and so forth. And also, of course, as all, the more positive feedback that you gather, the higher your CSAT and NPS is. So that was about our feedback assistant. And I would bring Bhavna to talk about something absolutely net new, which nobody has heard about, which is voice. Bhavna, over to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Vartika. So yeah, there are times when just text is not enough because of various reasons. Maybe you're on the go, you're driving, and you can't really type, or your query is so detailed that you would rather talk to somebody than type a message and do a lot of back and forth. This is where voice becomes very important. And of course, we've seen, a lot of customers telling us that their end customers are in a rural area, they're in tier two cities, they're not very comfortable typing. Maybe they are, senior citizens. Or they just want a lot of information which is not possible over text, and they want to try something using voice agents, which is where this channel comes in as well. So if you go to the next slide, what you can do with these agents is both inbound and outbound calls. So the example of real estate where I'm browsing property, which is, I saw an advertisement in the newspaper, maybe there was a QR code there that I scanned and went to their website. Now I'm browsing the property, but I have a question around, does it have a very specific amenity like an amphitheater? And that information I'm not able to find down online. And I also want to check what is the exact location. And if I don't get that information, chances are, tomorrow I'm going to be busy, I'm going to drop off. So the ability to get a call back at that point of time, which is either I can make a call to this particular company, or the company can call me back. So both inbound and outbound can be handled by this agent, and I can quickly get answers to my query. And maybe even if I'm convinced about this particular property, I can also book a site visit for the weekend, and so on. Now, what this AI agent would do, like we were discussing earlier, is not just give me the information, also drive towards the goal, but more importantly, it will be able to go back to the CRM and check whether Bhavna as a lead has been existing in the database earlier or not. So if I'm existing in the database, it will check what has been the past interactions. Did I mention what is my budget? What is, the locality of preference? Do I want to live there myself? So do I'm looking for a 2 BHK, 3 BHK villa, something else? If not, it'll ask me those questions, because one of the key jobs for it to really replicate a human-like conversation is to probe me and ask those questions and go and update the CRM, and assign it to a sales agent who is available and available in that particular area. So what the benefits are, of course, it'll reduce the time from lead interest to outreach. And we hear this from a lot of customers saying that um, from the time we get a lead to the time a salesperson is able to reach out to them, there is usually a gap of 2 hours, but in certain cases, it also happens the next day. So that's definitely not ideal. But it can also handle different languages. So far, we've tried English, Hindi, and we've also been, expanding to some languages like Telugu, Kannada, and Tamil as well. And the cool thing is, I don't have to say that I want to speak in a particular language. It'll detect what language I'm talking in and respond in that particular language. So we'll give it a shot and see if this with audio plays as well. So this is example is from, I think, banking, but you'll get an idea of how it sounds. I think the audio is not coming through, maybe the share settings. I can't hear it.
Okay, we'll probably send it in the email. Sorry about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Oh, we'll come back to this after the presentation. If you can go to the next one, Nisha. Yeah, one of the things that, so far we've covered a lot of these use cases, which are more customer facing, meaning that you can use it for your end customer interaction. But what we found is that using this as a co-pilot for, running your entire marketing operations and making it relevance is of value too. So some specific applications that we have built for, our marketing customers is one, you send these message only. So if you're using, say, WhatsApp and you have to, pay to Meta per message, you don't want to send messages to people who typically don't respond, and or whose likelihood to response is, say, below 60% or below 50%, and you can define your threshold. So you suppress those messages. Second is, what time is the person more likely to interact? Is this morning hours, maybe 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., afternoon, after work hours? So all of that information based on the historical engagement and read rates helps you to personalize those time slots and get higher returns on your marketing dollars. And of course, you can make AI basically your personal assistant and treat it as like a helpful support crew, which comes in for really bolstering your your efforts and, like we were discussing, the mundane tasks that you would do. So if you go to the next slide, you would see, the specific mechanics of how this works. But essentially, the first one is we use AI models to predict the likelihood of somebody opening a message versus not. And the second one is you determine what is the best send time for different cohorts of people and send your campaign at that particular time. Yeah, I think we've been talking so much about AI, but we wanted to make sure that we highlight that AI really cannot replace a human. So it would be remiss to not talk about this particular aspect. So it is going to perform all the tasks that are beyond individual capacity constraints, or just the tasks are plain boring and it's not worth your time. So the whole idea is that it's bolstering not only the personal success, but also organization-wide success. But it's important to remember that we have something that robots don't, which is creativity and humanity. So, when you think about the whole space of how is AI changing this, there is place for empathy, there's place for human connection, but we want people to be thinking about this as experiments. And the way I think about this, which is what I was mentioning, is that AI should be your support crew, right? So there should be a few initiatives where you want to use AI as your personal assistant and you focus on the real work and creative aspects yourself. Okay, with that, we look at some of the success stories of customers who've been using AI as early adopters. If you can just play this, Nisha. So this one is a company called Petromin, which is an auto service company. They have dealerships, but they also have, service packages which they provide to customers. People can ask them questions about troubleshooting when they are on the road. Ask them about, if I want to do a 6 monthly servicing of my car, which are the different packages available, or like something even as wacky as I want to paint my entire car. So what you see on the screen here is, a combination of, what we call the structured journeys, because you're providing them a menu, but it is also open-ended where somebody can just go and ask a question. So you could see here examples of somebody looking for a service center. So you share your location on WhatsApp and it'll tell you which is the service center which is nearest to you. It's giving you, through a nice visual carousel view, what are the different packages that are available. But if you just pause here, Nisha, we would see what's happening here, which is um, something worth highlighting. Yeah, Nisha, if you just go back to the example. So I don't know if you noticed, but the person really suddenly changes the context. And instead of asking about service packages, it is saying, hey, forget that, what do you think about I want to paint my car in metallic gold, right? And maybe the person is a little too flashy, but how the AI agent responds is by validating by their choice and being a little, cracking a joke about it, saying that, hey, that you're making a bold statement. So all of this is not something that it has been trained to do, saying that that's what you're supposed to say, but it's just, that's the personality that you've defined for the agent. And you would see that it's able to handle a lot of context shifting and able to help the customer with the specific request that they've got. Yeah, let's go to the next one. Here's another example. This is a CPG brand, and we all know that, FMCG or CPG is typically one of those industries where they don't talk to the customers because, you place your product in a store or in an online store and the person purchases it over there. But of late, a lot of companies are saying that, hey, we want to have a direct connection with the customer, which means we want to build our own first party database and we want to be known as a brand to them. So we may know of Laughing Cow as a brand, but how many of us knew that it is from Britannia, right? So we typically, that's the challenge that CPG companies face. Now, in this case, they were very innovative and they've actually launched a recipe agent. What this is doing is, first asking basic information, so they are able to build their database, and then they'll say, hey, this is what I can help you with. What kind of recipes are you in the mood for? Are you planning a party for 10 people, or is it just for one person, two people? Is it dessert, snacks? What ingredients do you have in hand? And it will suggest a recipe based on what you've just told it. And you can also, say that, hey, I am lactose intolerant, or I don't eat gluten. Can you suggest a recipe which is based on that? So you would see that it comes up with that with the information. And in the next phase, what they're also looking to do is integrate this with a quick commerce company. So the ingredients that that particular recipe requires are automatically added to the cart, and person can just go ahead and make the purchase and be ready for cooking and preparing the next meal. The other example from a very different space, which is banking. This is a neobank, digital-only bank based in the Philippines. And you would see here that this is happening on their mobile app. What their whole goal was that they were getting a lot of questions about how do I open an account? If I want to apply for an insurance, what is the process? What cover is right for me? Or maybe about a promotion that they got from the bank. They want more details about it. Now, traditionally, of course, they would have, marketing agents who are giving them all this information, but they wanted to supplement this with AI as well. So they used a hybrid approach where they combined, the traditional NLP models that we spoke about with generative AI-based models. And, there are pros and cons of doing each one of these, but their whole goal was that they wanted to minimize the need for training, which is what Gen AI provides, right? Because these are large language models which are pre-trained on a lot of the industry data. But NLP has been known to be smaller in scope, but slightly higher accuracy if you are just defining that, hey, this is a very narrow sliver of what I want to do. There are, of course, hallucination controls, but you can see, the person is asking questions between, what's the difference between uh, account type A versus account type B. And all of this is the information that the agent is trained to provide. But the good thing that they see is that already about 75% of their inquiries are being handled through AI. So it's only 25% that end up going to the human agents who have to step in because they are too complicated, and that's a great number. And they are expecting cost savings of over 20 million in a period of 3 years. And I think this is only going to become shorter and shorter with the kind of advancements that we are seeing in the AI space. So we have a bunch of other examples, but I just wanted to call out, like, between these two experiences, you saw that there is, if you just go back to the previous slide, Nisha, you saw that one is more focused on engagement. Um, it's humorous, it's being fun, it's giving, it can be creative in giving the recipe details. Um, but the second one is more goal driven because the goal might be that, you should get more and more people to sign up as leads and open an account. In other cases, it could be book an appointment, sign up, download an app, and so on. The ideal thing here is to get the right balance between the two, because if you just focus on one versus the other, it's not the right approach. So if you do the right measure of, you should be fun and engaging, but at the same time, you should be focused on the business goal. That's how you should think about the journeys that you are thinking of, right? So as marketers, we want to be creative and engaging, but we also want to make sure that the goal that we are looking for is achieved. So we're almost at the top of the hour. Vartika, you covered the reservoirs, so let's see if there's anything else as a new example. Yeah, I think this is an interesting one. So just 30 seconds on this Lenskart. We are all aware of this is both online and they have stores. And again, for their stores, they have a lot of human agents who are helping people make the right decision about the kind of glasses that will suit them, whether it's prescription glasses or blue eye glasses or sunglasses. What you'll see is that the agent is not straight away throwing recommendations, but it's asking very targeted questions before it'll recommend products to you. So it'll say, hey, can you describe what is the shape that you're looking at? What's the color preferences that you have? It will also check if you ordered from them in the past, and then it will suggest that, hey, this is the order history. Do you want to explore same products? Or if it's a net new customer who's not there in the CRM, then it'll start a fresh journey where it'll ask details about the customer. So there are, it's able to make that distinction. And the goal of Lenskart is that over 60 to 70% of the queries should become self-serve, where they're not they don't no more have to invest in additional sales agents, and their workload is reduced. Cool. So that's pretty much it. I know we are at the top of the hour, so I think there's an offer that we want to talk about, and if we still have people around, we can come back to some of these examples.
Awesome. So please do type in your questions in the Q&A box. It's been a very, very engaging session. And thank you so much, Bhavna and Aparna, for answering some of the questions.